Hi there. Hi, everybody. It's Catherine. And I'm here to talk about lipedema, but I'm really here to talk about some of what's going on because there's just so much going on. I want to talk about yesterday. What you can see here is it says Peter Hurley, the headshot. This is Peter's book. Let me tell you about Peter Hurley. Um, Well, let me tell you about the Real You Project first. The Real You Project is the project that we started last year for lipedema. And it's a partnership with Peter Hurley and Rodrigo Flores, two amazing photographers. So, I work with Dr. Smith, who co founded the Lipedema Project, and his expertise is breast cancer and breast cancer reconstruction. So, in the process of working with him, which I still do, God bless him, he is the most amazing doctor on the planet. He is so kind and generous and skillful. So, anyway, with Dr. Smith, um, for the breast cancer center, we hired Peter Hurley, the headshot expert. This is the cover of his book. This is Peter Hurley with long hair. He has short hair now. He is the premier headshot photographer in the country. Well, let me change that, in the world. So he has become um, the the photographer that people go to learn about headshot photography, not only headshot, but portraiture. He does, he shoots people, he shoots them in natural environments, he shoots them in the studio. So we hired him to come in and work with uh, 14 breast cancer survivors, and the results were astounding, just astounding. He captured the sensitivity, the beauty, the strength and survival. Um, and it was a wonderful, wonderful photo shoot, and the results were outstanding. And in the process, we became friends because we share something very deeply, which is the issues of what happens when someone gets in front of a camera. When someone gets in front of a camera, what goes on in their heads is what goes on in our heads about ourselves, about the way that we look. Like, every time I get into a live situation, some part of my chatter is about my double chins and about the fact that this doesn't look right and that I have lines here and here and that, etc. So Peter's actually done a TED talk on that and talked about psi photography, the psychology of photography. So when we connected about that, we started a conversation that's literally been going on for a couple of years, about, what is it about us that we somehow look at ourselves and we have so much negative chatter about ourselves. And photography, of course, will bring it to light. And so that conversation has led to something called the Real You Project. So after the photography and the photo shoot last year for the Breast Cancer Center, Peter offered to do one for the lipedema community with his protege, Rod Flores from Chicago. Peter's from New York, he's from Chicago. We ended up doing a photo shoot in Los Angeles in December, early December. We did a 2 month course called The Real You that was really looking at all of these issues. Let me step back and say my own research. The PhD you see is research around psychology, in psychology, and specifically how media impacts us. And my research was around women and body image and how the media manipulates us and what happens and how that impacts us, really, most of us for a lifetime. And how, I mean, the extra piece of that I've added in is anti-fat bias and understanding weight stigma and the um, really discrimination that goes on, especially in healthcare for those of us with lipedema, where we have a physical disorder, an actual medical disorder that's not recognized and is ascribed to lifestyle issues. That's what it comes down to. So, all of that has been an ongoing discussion. And so, uh, thanks. Marcia says that these are wonderful laugh lines. I do. I laugh a lot, but oh, every once in a while I'll go around like this and say, all right, maybe I can get Dr. Smith to fix all this. And then I say, what the heck? This is me. This is the real me. And what I've chosen to do is I've chosen to fall in love with myself. That's my theme for the past, really, I don't know, couple of years. It's like, what does it take to just be embodied, be in this body and learn to love it the way that it is? So all of my research and all of the journey with Peter and Rod is a burn survivor. He was an electrician in his day job and a photographer, a professional photographer on nights and weekends. Um, and he was in a pretty severe accident on the job in, I think it was 2018. I remember it was May. I was pretty sure May of 2018. And was electrocuted, which, he says that there was a transformer and it exploded and it separated him from the circuit, which was a blessing because he survived. But he survived severely wounded with very severe burns. And he's been in and out of the hospital, had many, many surgeries, lots of skin grafting. And he now is healing and mending. And he's done a little bit of volunteering just to talk to us about the whole process of disfigurement, because so many of us deal with that on a daily basis. So, um, so we're heading to Greece, to Santorini, Greece, and when are we going? We're going in September, towards the end of September for a week. I think we might go for a few extra days, maybe 10 days, just to, I mean, I'll never get to Greece again. So anyway, there'll be information coming if it's something you want to do, if you want to join us. Um, Yesterday, so let me go back because I'm all over the place, but yesterday, Peter came to New Hampshire. So I'm in Boston. It's about an hour and 15 minutes away. It's a fairly short drive under normal circumstances. The fact that we had an ice storm this week didn't make it any easier, but somehow it worked out. Just right time, right place. So I went to his workshop for photographers, and it was fabulous. The thing, not only is Peter kind hearted and talented as a photographer, he's funny. And like he said, if you're coming here for a workshop on photography, I feel like I need to entertain you as well. So it was just a fun day. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about photography, but also it reaffirmed for me that the work to be done is internal. I watched as the photography and what it captures. The photography captures more than just a physical representation of someone. under Peter's skillful direction, really, it captures the essence of someone. That's why we named the project The Real You. In Peter's TED Talk, Peter did a TED Talk some years ago. Anyway, I linked it above. You'll be able to see it. It's I can't remember, 20 minutes, 18 minutes, something like that, all about this psychology of photography and what happens. And I think the moment in the TED Talk where he talks about this woman who is incredibly gorgeous, and it reminded me of all the research that I had done, and I'll tell you that in a minute. But what Peter, says is this woman was gorgeous. I was so psyched to have her in front of my camera. And then when the pictures came up, he, I think it's called tethering, but he takes the picture with the camera, and then you can see it on the computer within seconds. And the woman was there with her husband, and she was saying, "Oh, I hate the way I look, and my eyes are too this, and my ears are too big." And the woman was Miss Universe, and absolutely gorgeous. And it went back to my own research. When I did my research on women and body image dissatisfaction, what I was interested in, what I was looking at, is what were the gaps between who we were, who we are, and how we see ourselves. And in my study, the most gorgeous woman. She wasn't, I mean, again, to me, because I've dealt with obesity and struggled with it for my whole life. Um, for me, being thin is such a criteria. If you're thin, you're gorgeous, right? That's, again, that's my bias and my particular warped mind. She was thin and gorgeous, and she was the woman that was hardest on herself. She was the woman that had the most severe self-judgment and criticism of how she looked. So this is an ongoing journey for me, and the work that I'm doing. So then at one point in the TED Talk, Peter says, all I want to get is the real you. And then he shows a series of pictures of different clients that he shot. And you get this incredible joy and rush of, yeah, that's who these people are. And that's what we've been working for and working towards. So we're going to have another photo shoot in Santorini, Greece in September of this year. And I'm to say that I'm psyched about it. Well, there's one more issue for me, which has to do with mobility. So I had surgery for a hip replacement. I have been, I'm mobile. I wasn't mobile. I was barely able to get around with a walker for a while. Then I had the surgery and it got better. Then there was the pandemic, and then I did Miranda, which is one of our exercise programs, a lot, and that helped a little bit. But then the only thing in the end that's going to help is walking. So I have been on a whole thing where I'm walking several times a week in my neighborhood and on the bike path. I live close to something called the bike path. So I go down to the bike path and I walk on that. And this is huge for me because Santorini is an island in the Aegean Sea in Greece, and it's a lot of walking. So I figure I got to get in shape. So I'm in training for Santorini, Greece, and very slowly and very gently. This has been a week because we've had ice storms, but I'm starting up again today, and just feeling grateful and blessed. And what else do I want to share with you today? Oh, yeah, we're in the midst of our February webinar series. And the link, let me put the link under here. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, yeah, here it is. It's called Put a Little Self-Love in Your Heart. So as I said, the theme is falling in love with yourself. There are 14 webinars in February, and each and every webinar, in one way or the other, is about different ways you can love yourself. There's a lot of um, keto, well, different versions or different ways of doing keto. When I say ways of, different aspects of it. Like we have from Dr. Carlos talking about gut health and how keto gets to your very cells. We had Carrie Reedy, who these are some of our coaches. Carrie was talking about how to retrain your mindset because we have so much entrenchment in the diet cycle, diet and refeed and recycle. Anyway, fabulous. She just did it on Friday. And today we have Brian Hayward, who's going to be talking about pain management. He is an expert around it, and especially something called CBD. Um, I used it. It was the only thing that got me through to my surgery because I was in really excruciating pain. As many of you know who are bone on bone, I was bone on bone, and they wouldn't do the surgery until I lost weight. And I had gained weight because of my lipedema and everything that had happened and post surgery, yada, yada, yada. I mean, the whole story. And I was like, so like, I thought that was it. I thought that was the end. And thank God for CBD for me. And thank God for um, carnivore, because intermittent fasting and carnivore got me to where I needed to be in order to get the surgery. So it is quite the journey. And I'm doing these weekly now. These are just, catch up from my eyes and from what I'm learning and what my exploration. But I want to share with you. So I said to Peter, okay, the people who get this book are the people who sign up for his membership group called the Headshot Crew. He's got about 20,000 worldwide. And I'm like, not a photographer. And I said, okay, Peter, I want a book. So he, I'm going to post the video because he was funny as he is. So he says in the book, he signs it. I want to read it. He says, what can I say? We found each other through Mark's perseverance to find the best. Yeah, that was it. Dr. Smith was determined. We went through so many photographers and no one until we found Peter. And it was when we found Peter that I got the approval to go ahead and hire him. So anyway, we found each other through Mark's perseverance to find the best. Little did we know he created the dream team. I can't wait to see how this operation we have together unfolds. Shebang! I love you, Peter. I'm just when you're partnered with someone where what you do can make a difference. And I want to say what we're doing with the Real You Project for the lipedema community is making a difference. So thank you. Much love. And I'll see you next week. And for anyone who's coming to the February series, the Put a Little Self Love in Your Heart, I'll see you later today. Bye.